Well, Jimmy, we want to welcome you to Auburn University
Thank
and the
you
School
so
of
much.
Fisheries, Aquaculture, and Aquatic Sciences. This is our Visitor Learning Center here at the E.W. Shell Fisheries Research Station. We're fortunate that we're right on the northern gateway to Auburn here, and we have a lot of folks drive by and they see the fish
facility.
ponds.
I couldn't believe it when I drove up to it.
Yeah,
Incredible.
They see the fish ponds, and we get people off the street that come in and say, hey, what do y'all do here? And we are all about Alabama's aquatic resources. And even before we had this visitor facility, we were touring 1,500 to 1,800 people a year.
Really? How many people do you come through now? You
Well,
got great
we
facilities
just finished the facility, and we've already had, what is this, 1st of March, we've already had 600 come through.
Wow. So you're
we're
going to
doing,
have 5,000 or so this year probably.
Yes, and we just hired a part-time coordinator for the Visitor Learning Center who's going to help us with school groups, and he's a retired teacher.
Well, you need to bring high school, grade school kids through here, and high school kids, you know, and well, kids, you know, the deal is teaching kids. I mean, that's the deal. And, you know, they learn and they hear all the time about respecting the outdoors, respecting wildlife, and so many of these kids just love to fish. They love to get out in the outdoors. And the more they know about it, the more they're going to respect it.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised how many kids that we come out here that have never touched this fish.
Oh,
or
you're
seen
right.
One up close.
Yeah,
so we'll pull one out of one of the tanks out here and let them touch it, and they, you know, see the whiskers on them. Yeah, and Alabama is, you know, it's the second largest catfish production state in the United States.
Is Louisiana first?
Mississippi.
Mississippi. Oh, yeah, I guess that'd be right.
Yeah,
I guess.
But Alabama produces about $120 million a year worth of catfish, so it's a relatively big business in Alabama. Yeah. But it's nothing close to the fishing business. Recreational fishing in Alabama, the value is close to $2 billion a year.
Big deal. That's
so,
right.
That's when you start talking about the boats and the lures and all those sorts of things. But
I spend my share in Alabama.
I'll bet you do. But we've
got for a long time.
Yeah, we've got a variety of different programs. You know, the name of the school is the School of Fisheries, Aquaculture, and Aquatic Sciences. So pretty much anything that has to do with water, we've got folks involved.
Fantastic.
And our aquatic resources here in Alabama, people don't realize the diversity of fish. Alabama has the highest diversity of freshwater fish, crayfish, freshwater mussels, and snails, and turtles. So we're trying to educate the kids about that diversity and why they should respect it, and it's important to them. And this facility out here is one of the largest in the world. It's about 1,800 acres. We've got over 300 ponds, close to 2,000 tanks and aquaria.
And we're going to fish one of your lakes here in just a little bit. We're going to go try to catch some bass.
Yep. So hopefully you'll get some good fish. We've
got a cold front in. The fishing conditions are bad, but the fishing is going to be good.
But you're a professional. That's why. So it shouldn't
You
matter,
have a great
right?
place.
Shouldn't matter. Yeah. So we've got this area divided up into several different sections, kind of the life in freshwater and the conservation and the aquaculture and the research. You know, we've got a tremendous amount of research. This just kind of shows some of the activities that happen out here at the station. And this is a map of our facility where you can, you know, punch the lights. It kind of shows where
are we going to fish? Where am I going to put my boat in?
You are going to be right here. This is what we call the lower station.
Okay.
And this is where the bulk of our ponds are. This is the blow up of it. But we're very fortunate that we control essentially the whole watershed. So we're collecting all the water off of that watershed, and we direct it by gravity or by pumping it over a hill. And this water, this reservoir, supplies all the water for our research ponds.
Don't you dare put me in a spot where nobody can catch them. You know, I hear that a lot. I tell people send me letters. We get about 20,000 letters a year, and people will say, "I want you to come up here and fish Lake such and such." We never can catch anything out of that lake. I want to go where everybody catches them.
Well, I got to tell you, our students, a special privilege of being a fishery student is being able to fish out here. So they do. I will tell you, these ponds do get a little fishing pressure from the students, but they are having pretty good success.
Okay,
so hopefully you'll be able to catch a great one too.
Yeah, I bet we do.
We've got a lot of students from China. We got a lot from Southeast Asia. We've got a lot from South America, Brazil, several from Africa, Ghana, Liberia, Nigeria. We've got a student from South Africa now, Guatemala, Mexico. So they're coming from all over because of the faculty and the program and the resources here.
I've fished about all those places you mentioned. Yeah,
have you been all over the world?
Well, I've fished most of those places you mentioned. We fished. We sure have.
Yeah. Well,
including South Africa. Yep.
Yeah. Well, are you familiar with aquaponics?
No.
Aquaponics has taken the nutrient-rich water from fish culture and running it through plants. So it's a combination of aquaculture and hydroponics. And hydroponics is growing plants without soil. So if you think in general terms it takes 2 pounds of feed to make 1 pound of fish, you've got an extra pound of feed that's either you have to treat it as a waste product or you try and treat it as an additional resource that you can repackage and turn into something else that's marketable. And Auburn has one of the older fisheries programs in the States, with the first fisheries courses being taught before 1950. Homer Swingle, who a lot of our buildings and things are named after here, was an entomologist, but he actually developed the original protocols for pond stocking, like how many bluegill and how many bass and how to fertilize and lime.
Cool.
But we also work very closely with a number of other partners, including the Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, ADCNR. They actually help sponsor a lot of this. We work with the Cooperative Extension System to help distribute the information that's generated by the research in a way that's understandable, as well as folks like Alabama Power.
That goes back into the early 30s, Swingle?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm ready to go check one of your ponds out.
All right. Well, it was a sure pleasure.
Ponds or lake? I was asked this morning, do you call something a pond or a lake? And I don't know exactly the explanation for that. I think that maybe if it gets such a size, it's small, it's called a pond. If it gets larger, but my wife came up with a gill. She said that lakes are where water runs in and runs out. So if you dam up a creek, you got a lake. If you just dig a big hole and put water in it, you have a pond. I don't know.
Well, we don't.
But I know fish grow well in both of them.
Yeah, we don't have very many natural ponds in Alabama. In fact, only a few.
Nearly everything's man-made.
Well, yeah, right. So they're all reservoirs.
Yeah. All right, and what have you got going on, babe?
So we have the Swabahog Program, which is an angler-driven trophy catch program designed to evaluate the role of Florida bass genetics in Alabama reservoirs. And it's a collaboration with Auburn University's Dr. Eric Peatman and the ADCNR to ensure trophy bass genetics for future generations. And so what we have here is we have, instead of taking a fin clip, which can stress the fish out, you can swab the bass on the tongue with this nifty little brush for about 5 seconds. You put it in this dry pack and you mail it back to us.
Really?
And we can do the genetics on it. Yeah, it's pretty neat and way less
I wonder if
invasive.
any guys do that with their girlfriends. I just send it back to you and say, wow, where are these genetics?
It's kind of like, 23andMe, a little genetic history of the bass. And so, that's our goal, to kind of get really a citizen science program going on. And currently we're on Lake Eufaula is our pilot lake, and we're hoping to go more statewide and really just, ensure that better genetics means bigger bass.
Are you using bass clubs or tournaments, or what?
We have. We've started to do that. We have a lot of promotional items out in Eufaula. It's a lot of just hitting the pavement and talking to people right now and getting the word out there. And we really have a lot because, Eufaula is considered the big bass capital of the world. And so they're really into it. We're trying to bring, more the economy for Eufaula, bring more people in, more fishermen. So hopefully we can just get bigger bass for everybody.
Are you finding that the bass you're checking, are a lot of those are they F1 bass where you put Floridas in and they bred with the northern largemouth?
What we have seen so far is, ideally we're looking for people to swab bass 4 pounds and over. And what we've seen so far is the bass over 4 pound ranges have more Florida alleles in them. Right. And these are big Alabama reservoirs, so they found that.
So it'd be just naturally created F1 bass is what they'd really be, right?
Well, actually, so they have F1 bass, but they're not doing as well in those as they thought they would. They have stocked those, but really we're trying to see if potentially that just the pure Florida bass are really what people are kind of pushing for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool program. I like it. I like it. I'm getting ready to launch my boat in a lake here at Auburn University. That's right, Auburn University, Auburn, Alabama. And I've got Rusty right here. And Rusty, you had an incredible operation. I've been kind of touring the thing this morning. You do an amazing job down here, and that's one of the reasons that fishing is so good in the state of Alabama and really all over. I mean, you're not just working to make fishing good here in Alabama. You're making fishing good everywhere, and I actually got operations outside of the state of Alabama. What am I going to be fishing here today?
Well, you're going to be fishing in a typical kind of farm pond here in Alabama.
This is what, 10, 15 acres?
Yeah, about 18 actually.
18 acres.
As it kind of wraps back around a little bit there. This is the water supply pond for our lower station that supplies the water. It's the head pond that supplies the water for all our aquaculture ventures and some of our other projects downstream of the pond. Not claiming that this is we don't really manage this for heavily for like a trophy fish or anything like that. But right now
we're going to catch some fish.
Right now, we've had some of our students out fishing and some of our faculty, and the reason I'm putting you on this pond is they tell me they're catching fish out.
Okay, I was hoping you wouldn't say because nobody can catch one here.
No. So this pond actually gets a little bit. It's not our typical
fishing pressure.
It gets some fishing pressure, but it gets a little bit of everything compared to some of our other ponds. We're doing projects out here. If you see some of the floats out on the pond, it's because we're doing some tracking out here. We've got some radio tracking in both bass and paddlefish in this pond, where we actually can measure their tail beat frequencies.
Wow.
So we're looking at how these fish respond to different weather patterns, other things in the pond, and how they, the time of day, other things in the pond. So we're doing some interesting work even in this water supply. We've got maybe 30 or to 40 of these bigger ponds on the station where we study pond management and also do a little bit of aquaculture in them as well.
Well, it's an amazing place. Rusty, I appreciate y'all letting me come out here and play today, and I'm going to have a lot of fun, I know. We got a great day. We got a tough day from fishing. We had a big storms come through yesterday. I smashed them down at the waters, but it's clear. It's the day after cold front. It's a tough condition. I'm going to get after it.
All right,
see you on the water. Oh, come up here and ate that legend spinnerbait. Oh, nice fish. Pretty fish right there. Boy, he come up and ate it right out of that brush pile, right on top of the water. Get out of that. Get out of that. That's a big, Jimmy, that's a big fish. You probably shouldn't be lifting those size in, Jimmy. Oh, let me power pull right here real quick. Just in case. I've fished quite a few different baits this morning. I finally picked up my old legend spinnerbait and a double willow leaf. But I got to show you something here on this. Look at that fish there, boy. That's a nice big old fish right there. I got to show you something on this spinnerbait. Here's what I've done here. You see this inside blade of this spinnerbait? This is my double willow leaf and a 1/2 ounce. It's got a real big willow leaf blade on the end of it. But here I've dipped this in some Spike It blade dye. And I did the inside of it, and I just did the tip of it because I didn't want a tremendous amount of red. And let me see if I've got some of that in here. I'll show you how this works. There we go. There it is right there. Let me show you how this works. This is a cool deal right here. This is the electrochrome blade dip, and this is red. And let me tell you what the deal is in this. I'm going to show you something here that most of the time when I'm running a tandem like this, I'll just do the inside blade. A lot of time I'll use just a little round kicker blade if I'm running Colorado blades on there. And so what I've done with this is I just actually did the tip of it. Now here's all you need to do on this. You take this here and I'm gonna just re-dye it here. It's fine right now. It's got plenty of red on it, but you can see it's getting a little knocked off there in fishing it. And all you need to do is just simply dip it down in there, just like that. And I'm just gonna do half of it. I just did the tip. Look at that. See how it's shining and how it sparkles? That'll be ready to fish in just a few seconds. By the time I put that dye up, and it's ready to go. Now you see I went up a little bit further on that first one, but you can see how that shines right there. It is absolutely amazing. Now I could do the gold one on the end too, and I'm going to. Now normally I don't do that. Normally I'll do the inside blade. Let's just tip just a little bit of the end. Look at that. I don't have it level. Look at that right there. I just put a little red on the end of it. Now red's the color that bass can see the best in most shallow water applications. So sometimes just adding that little bit right there will mean all the difference in the world in catching fish and not catching fish. It's an amazing deal. Now, here's what you think. You think, well, Jimmy, how long you have to let it dry? It's ready to go right now. It's ready to go. I'm gonna stand up and start throwing it right now. I hope you enjoyed that video. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that little bell so it'll ding and remind you, and you'll never miss a Jimmy Houston Outdoors video. Thanks a bunch, guys and gals.